Hey y'all, what's happening? I don't usually do intros to my videos like this. I think I've done it like once or twice before. I did want to put this one together because I'm putting together this video episode and there was one clip that was central and extremely important to the episode that somehow got corrupted on my phone. And when I moved the clip over and saved it on my hard drive in order to do the episode, I realized that like a 3.5 minute clip was corrupted, and so yeah, it's really central to the episode. I think you'll get the picture, but the first couple of steps in the process that I completed this time were in that first clip. So I think you'll still get it, but I'm really proud of myself for getting through this thing with the brakes. And I'm excited to be done with all but the fine tuning, which won't happen until after I do the paint and all that stuff anyway. But I'm excited to be done with the brakes, or at least the design. And for somebody who's not an engineer, to basically go through and reinvent how, at least part way anyway, reinvent how the brakes work on this thing has been a very tedious task, to say the very least. And I'm excited to be done. I can't wait to get the fine tuning done and make sure it actually works. But anyway, enjoy the clip. But again, there's going to be some stuff that you're going to wonder, like, wait, where did that come from? And it's because there was some work that I recorded that unfortunately doesn't exist anymore. Anyway, hope you enjoy.
What's happening, everybody? Juan here out in the garage. And hopefully I don't break anything along the way. As always, something has to change when I'm doing this. So, work it out. Because I'm super excited about it. Love it when a plan comes together. Here we go, back at it. All right, as you guys know, this is going to be my master cylinder for the front brake. It's remote, cable operated. It is a master cylinder and a reservoir. Fluid goes in there. Obviously, the brake line's going to come out that end. And I'm going to mount this underneath where the AIS used to be. So there used to be a couple of, or the AIS was mounted under here. Get out of the way, you're hooked. Was mounted under here. And so there's a mounting tab with 2 bolts. I found some, I want to say that's like 14 gauge or maybe 12 gauge aluminum. That was just the right width, and I went ahead and drilled the holes for those mounting tabs. I needed a bit of an offset. It needed to come from the front and move toward the back, so I bent an offset in there. I measured out the holes that I would need for the master cylinder, drilled them in, and I had some bolts laying around that would work, but they're big, bulky, ugly. I'll probably get some button head screws to put in here, you know, the Allen key type, just to make it look better. Even though it's going to be behind the chin spoiler, it's not going to be seen. In the event the chin spoiler comes off, it would just look better. And they're also smaller at the head, take up less room, and like these nuts for the back are friggin' huge. These things are like 1/2 inch thick almost, and that's just way more than I need on the back side. But this is just for mock-up. So that will go on those tabs underneath, facing the front, and the cable will hook onto here. It actuates fine. There's plenty of room down there for it to work. And then what I'm going to do is mount it. It'll be mounted right around here, and it'll have a hard line coming out and up to maybe here. I'm going to put a hard line from the caliper up the fork, and then probably in this area I'll have a piece of brake line, flexible brake, because when the air ride is going up and down, obviously I need the slack and the flex there, but I think it'll look better with hard line here and hard line here and not having just a bunch of steel braided brake line. I've got my own brake line stuff, like here's just regular brake line, and in this bag down here, that's all stainless. Well, it's just silver, so it's still brake line. It's a hard line, and I'll be able to bend it to make my lines, and then I just have to get a piece of steel braided brake line to fit between the two. But yeah, moving along here. Now I think I'm getting to the home stretch for the brake system, and once I'm done with the brake system, I'll finish up the few things I'm working on with the air, and then I'm going to get to painting. Oh man, that's going to be, yeah, that's going to be something. Anyway, next clip, I'll have it temporarily mounted up. And here's what it looks like in place. So those were existing mounts from the AIS stuff, and I took this piece of aluminum, drilled it, bent it so it would fit in place, mounted the remote brake master cylinder to it, and now I just have to see if I can plumb it on that side and run the cable on this side. It actuates without a problem, doesn't hit anything, plenty of room. This is the line for the brake switch, so I can actually move that to the other side of the frame, or have it run down a slightly different way. But I have functions. It holds well. I'll probably get different bolts here and probably put socket head cap screws on there, something like that, that are Allen, just because they'll look better than that. It's just my temporary mounting to make sure that it would work. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. Temporarily mounted up there. As you can see, can't get in there cleanly. You can see the mounting tab and the bolts where it's up there. It's temporarily mounted. It has plenty of room for the lever to move and actuate. And the only thing, I'm not really concerned, I just have to see how I can make it fit, is that the plumbing is coming off the side here. And, you know, this is not a hard line. This is just for the starter, so I can move that. But I want the line to come cleanly off of here. I might try to do something with this so the hard line comes off of here and runs up the side, or on the outside of the frame, the A-frame there. But yeah, temporarily mounted up. I've got to cut off the excess on the bottom. Don't need any of that. Don't need any more air being blocked from flowing and cooling the front. But it's not blocking a whole lot. But yeah, that's the cable operated remote master cylinder, temporarily mounted. Now I just need to figure out how I'm going to run the cable. It's going to be nice and short. I think I'm going to use that one. I'm going to use, or that one. I've got a couple. No, that's the super long one, so not going to be that one. But I've got multiple cables to choose from. Sorry, this particular workbench is a mess. I was building a shed, and so blocked one of my windows, but I've just got everything laid out all over the place. So I'll be putting together the cable to be able to run that. And as soon as I'm done with these brakes, it's on to, just got to finish a couple of small things with the air. A couple of small things. I had to change the way the fender was going to go behind the bags. And then I'm going to get to painting. I'm telling you, I'm going to be done and have her on the road this season. But this custom paint stuff that I'm doing, I have no idea how long that's going to take me. But anyway, brakes. Wanted to put one more video for temporarily. I tightened the knurl up a little tighter on the bottom there. And so now, using both brakes, if you'll see the master cylinder here for the rear, master cylinder there for the front. Let's see if I can get them both in as I'm pushing the brakes. Yes. Sweetness. Sweetness. Got the whole thing working. So, rear brake only for limited space type stuff. And when I press both of them, it's both front and rear. There shouldn't be a time where I'll need just the front because I can't push that by itself anyway. Most excellent. Well, isn't that cool? So I got another rear master cylinder strictly for the purpose of getting the cap on top. I could not find one that went straight up and down. They all come off into the front. So unfortunately, I have to put the hose on and coming off a different direction. But what's cool about this one, it is the same size, the same bore diameter, same stroke length and everything as the one that I have on there. But this one already has the banjo bolt coming off to the side instead of out of the front. So, whereas with this one, I was going to have to modify my brake line to have a 90-degree bend on it to meet this. Now I can use this one over here with my banjo coming off the back. And right now I will use that steel braided line that's on there, but it really is too long. But yeah, that's pretty good. And it came with a long hose and a plastic cup. I bought an aluminum brake fluid reservoir, which is actually smaller than this one even, but it'll look way better. But this is super long. I'll have to figure out where I'm going to run it and where I'm going to attach it, where it's not going to get too hot and mess around and boil the brake fluid because of the heat coming off of the engine or the exhaust. So I'll figure that out. But yeah, I think I'm going to see if I can pull that master cylinder off and replace it with the other one. If I'm lucky, the mounting locations are the same distance apart. If not, you know, that's a whole other set of things to work with. But we'll see. And there's nothing that says I have to use this one. It would just be convenient. All right, I'm back at it again. So, got most of my stuff temporarily mounted up. As I showed you guys last time, that is the master cylinder for the front brake, mounted where the AIS stuff used to be, above and in front of the starter. Made a plate for it to hang on. It's below the rectifier there. I have this HHI Hog Halters 6-pot front caliper, bigger since I'm only going with a single front rotor. So that's pretty big. This is the caliper mount that Mike Jalmervik helped me out with. It's made out of aluminum, so I'm probably going to polish that up and then clear coat it so it stays shiny. It had a regular banjo bolt. So I reached out to the guys over at Jegs, and I got some Earl's fittings. I got a steel braided line that's AN 3AN at both ends, one with a 90-degree, and then I got this AN to banjo 45-degree fitting. Put that here so it runs up alongside the fork. I've got some slack here for when the suspension is extended. When I pump up the air ride, it goes down on this side. It has a 90-degree 3AN on it. Excuse me, AN fitting on the end. And the master cylinder had an NPT to 3AN nipple on it. So I'm good there. This is going to be tucked. The cable here is going to be tucked behind the chin spoiler once it comes up. Because the chin spoiler obviously comes from way down here all the way up. Pardon this wire. This is for the turn signals. Pardon my sniffling. My allergies are killing me. But that's it. Like I said, this is going to be the extra for when the air ride is pumped up. And see it again from, oh, wait, where were you? There we go. See it from that side. Got the pedals hooked back up. Got the cable on there. So front brake, rear brake. Both of them. Let's see if I can get them in the picture. Yeah, buddy. Exciting times. I got to do a little bit of adjusting on the pedal down here. I've got a little bit of slack in there, so I've got to make that slack up to tighten that gap back up. And my brake fluid reservoir, right now it's still got the full length hose on it. I replaced the actual reservoir with an aluminum one. I'm going to shorten that way up and just figure out where I'm going to mount it. I just have it sticking up in there for now. But I got to figure out where I'm going to mount the reservoir. If I'm going to mount it up to the side of the chin spoiler or something, not really sure. But I can say that I'm about 98% done with the brakes now. I'm going to get a slightly different brake line for the rear. But I think that I am, with the exception of some fine tuning of the mounts and the spacing on either side of the brake pads to make sure that I'm where I need to be and that they're not grabbing on the rotor, I think that I am done for the most part with the brakes. Exciting. I'm so glad to be done with that. And that doesn't look good at all without the chin spoiler on there. I'd have to get a chrome oil filter or something, but that's going to be all covered up when the chin spoiler's back on anyway. Excellent.